As we all know, Matrix is very difficult and very hero locked. And one of the areas that you're really going to struggle with is living, especially if you don't have Cyrus. But what if I told you there's a secret strategy that makes that all go away and you're actually able to progress in Matrix even without a good tank? I'm going to explain that too. Also, even if you do have Cyrus, this will also help you to potentially get higher scores. So, as you can see here, here's the team that I ran last week. Now, this team worked very well for me. Obviously, my account's very strong, I have really good gear, and I didn't have Beatrix or Cyrus. I now have Beatrix, but at the time I didn't. And I had to run this. Draylen is possible to keep alive if you time Carnelian ults perfectly every single time, but it's very, very flawed of a team because it weakens my physical, gets rid of Draylen, who's one of the best physical options, and then it also requires a lot of manualing. Very, very, very annoying, very, very difficult. But the thing I'm going to show you, Draylen is not going to be there. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to put down our Nastia. Now stay with me, stay with me. I will explain it as we go on. I'm also going to put down Beatrix because why not? This is the team I'm going to run. Now, on paper, this makes no sense because the boss has a very specific ability where it will hit with single target damage. It'll do like 300k and then a damage over time effect will apply and do hundreds of thousands of damage over and over again for the period of a couple seconds. But there are a couple units that decide that that does not matter. And one of those units is the new Azareth. I'm going to go over some of the other units that work as well in a second, but I want to show you how this works. So let me gear and we're going to go into it. Also, very quickly, if you want more Matrix content or even just content in general, the best way to support me is to like the video and subscribe. That's all I gotta say. Let's get back into it. After gearing for a while, I have now finished. And I want to go ahead and give a little bit of insight as to what the hell is happening here, right? Why am I not using a tank? You know, I don't have Cyrus, but how the hell am I supposed to live? Well, remember that single target attack that's supposed to do crazy amounts of damage? Well, as long as you can survive the first hit, if someone is immune to debuffs, they won't get hit by the subsequent hits. So the reason why Carnelian can't keep your tank alive on her own is purely because it lasts too long. But if you can make it so only the first hit is doing damage because they're immune to debuffs, you will survive. Alright, so this is the team I will be setting up. We have 6 DPS, which is unheard of. I'm sure there's a better option than Nastia. I was already using no lords before, so maybe you could put something in. But for this, we're just going to keep it simple, and we're going to go into this. To preface, this is going to be very, very, very strange, but bear with me. I'm going to try to explain it the best I can. What we're going to do is we're going to start with Valara on the right. Then we're going to give her the Invig. We got to do all of the Invigs and Wigs of Grace respectively. Then we could do Azareth on the left right here. I'm going to swap him so he doesn't start hitting the boss. Then we're going to be able to put our Beelzebub so both of them get Invig. Then we can put down our Valise with Valara, which is going to go right here. Then we could do our Elowin. Elowin is going to be facing right, which is really weird, but trust me. Then we're going to do our Beatrix on the left. We're going to put down Carnelian, and I'm actually going to face her to the left, which sounds weird, but bear with me. Then I'm going to do our Magda on the left, and then I'm going to do our Nastia on the right, facing down. You can face her to the right if you want, you can face her down. I don't think it really matters. We're going to place her there, okay? That is our 6 DPS setup. Now, what's the goal here? Well, the goal here is a couple things. Obviously, we need to DPS down as fast as possible. The reason why this works so well is because you need as much DPS as you can while effectively surviving, because there is a timer in the top left, which is 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and it makes it impossible to stay alive past a certain point. The other goal is to make sure every single time the single target attack comes out, no matter what, Azareth has a stack. If he does not have a stack, he will die. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to make sure he is efficiently keeping his stacks. That is what matters most. Okay, with that out of the way, what we're going to see is now the single target, Focus Strike, is going to hit Ezerith. Maybe it won't because we might do too much damage, but it's going to hit later, and I'm going to be able to show it. Sorry, we're too strong here, and we're killing things too fast. We're letting Ezerith go ham for a little bit here, making sure that we swap him so that he can build up some stacks again. Bam. And now we get to a Focus Strike that once again will actually come out. So the general idea here is Ezerith has a stack of Carnelian Orb. Carnelian will keep him alive no matter what on one hit. And then he has his immunity to debuffs. And what is the thing that really tends to kill you after the initial hit? Well, that is the debuffs, okay? So he's going to just completely ignore that existing, and you're not going to see another damage tick on him again. He's just not going to take more damage. That is insane, okay? That is game-changing for this. Previously, we would have to do some Draylen shenanigans, or use Ezrein on this team, which would then weaken the physical. You know, Draylen and Ezrein are not perfect because ultimately they do weaken both phases, right? Now you can just freaking make Ezreith tank, or other units I will get to later. It is insane. So I'm literally just going to keep this going, try to do as much damage as I can, just making sure that no matter what, I am making sure that Ezerith has a stack on, and I will reconvene in a bit and let you know what's happening. And with literally a minute and a half left, I am at 62k. This is already about what I was able to get last week using Draylen, who weakens my physical side. But it's the best that I could do. So, I mean, like, damn, this is really working well, which is crazy to me. So here, we're gonna just keep it going. We got another minute to go. I've just been, doing the normal stuff, managing things as best I can. I have had to start putting Wood Elves down for Ezerith just in case he dies to a couple things. Like, he could die to the enemies if I don't kill them fast enough. He could die to this AoE. And if we lose a Karn Orb and he gets hit, he just straight up dies. Surprisingly, though, Karn's not the only thing that works, but I'll go over that too in a second. So here, we're going to swap him because he's getting low on his Focus Strikes. Then we can click our Beatrix ults. We can click our Magda. He's going to get hit. He's going to quote-unquote die and then stay alive. And then we're just going to swap him again. And we're at 71k. And that is crazy. And, of course, Nerissa's going to die. But that's okay, because I'm not going to save this one. I do want to try to experiment a little bit more. And then Carnelian Orb was not on. That's okay. But that is still crazy. And when he dies, he doesn't kill the entire team, which is also nuts. Because that's like the whole point, is it kills the entire team. And just like that, 76,000. My previous highest score was freaking 63. And it weakened my physical. Is that not insane? Like, holy shit. I'm blown away. And I'm not saving it yet because, I mean, I'm gonna need to refine this later. But yeah, that's how it works. But it doesn't stop there because there's so many substitutions you can make. Let me show you. Now, obviously, even though this is no Cyrus, I am still using a lot of units I know a lot of people don't have. Ezerith and Carnelian mostly. The other DPS you can kind of just fill in with whatever the hell you want. And as long as you have one Rage Regener or one Cleanser, you're kind of chilling. So let's go over some substitutions, shall we? Carnelian is actually not needed at all, okay? Carnelian can be replaced. Let me show you a score. So before I show you what I want to show you with the substitution, if you were to look through the rankings, to my knowledge, Akosi, who is really good at boss content, has, to my knowledge, the highest no Cyrus score ever. Apart from mine, which is 76k, obviously. And if you look at this picture, this is from FBan, okay? FBan did indeed tell me about this because I asked him, I saw a score hanging around. Look at this thing, 69,000 with this weird ass team. He is using Lily and Airless, no Carnelian, which is incredibly impressive. Frees up his Cyrus for the other team, as well as Eloin, which allows him to push very high with no Carnelian, right? That's very cool. So the general idea here, if I go back to the game, is Lily and Airless both share a little bit of a quality. Airless has a mechanic where, here, let me just go over here. It's kind of hard to find Airless. Airless has a mechanic where she will keep people alive, give immunity to all damage for 5 seconds. And if you know anything about what I just showed you, it's the fact that if you can survive the first hit, the rest does not matter whatsoever. So not only does Airless have that and it replenishes, so does Lily, an epic, right? Lily has a shield every 55 seconds. I don't know if you need both of them or only one. I definitely know that after a certain point, you cannot down the boss without taking more than one of these hits. So I think you may need both of them or just one Carnelian. But either way, I mean, you could use them instead. Obviously, Carnelian's going to be the best. But you saw, this guy, freaking FBan, is hitting almost 120k with no Cyrus, no Carnelian, which is incredibly impressive. 114k. I mean, that is super good, right? And then the other substitution is Ezerith. I know not everyone has Ezerith. Well, what can we use instead of Ezerith? Well, one of the options, which I'm not really going to touch on long, is actually Neja. So Neja does have immunity to debuffs if he is bonded with Erlang during his ultimate. Not only this, it is also physical phase, so you maybe could bring like an Airless and a Lily on physical, and then you don't even have to bring Ezrin. I think that could maybe push things a little further, but he's not really the best option, right? Because you're not going to use him on the magic side. But with the magic side, all you have to do is you have to use Anora. The only thing you have to build Anora as is have enough HP to where she gets targeted by the single target. Not only that, you use either Airless or Lily, or both, or you use Carnelian. That's all. And Anora can tank for you, she can do some extra damage, and she is going to do work. She's limited from before if you don't have her. Hopefully she gets rerun soon. But either way, you know, a lot of people have her. She's absolutely an option. As long as they are immune to debuffs, it does not matter. You just make them tank the hits, and then you call it a day. That is it. So, with that out of the way, there are also some ways that this score can go higher. So if we look, the highest score on global is 86,000, almost 87. On Asia server, Vanilla is getting 90,000. I think instead of using Cyrus or instead of using Nastia, what you could do is you could do Ingrid as the Lord, just on her own, and then you swap like this. I think this team has potential to hit higher than that. Now, I cannot guarantee it. I'm going to experiment with it, obviously, to try to get my score up to over 120k with no Cyrus. But either way, before this, the highest score was 70k at the most by one of the best boss players in the game that has a lot of good gear, good awakenings, good everything, right? And then if you didn't have Cyrus, otherwise, from, you know, people like that, it was pretty freaking damn hard, right? Well, now you have an option that may even make Cyrus no longer meta at the highest level. With that out of the way, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, and Destined signing out.